Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 In Depth. In today's episode, I want to go over base clearing. I have a tried and true method that clears out bases 99% of the time, and it's something that I wanted to share with you, along with the fact that this is a sponsored episode of In Depth. It is sponsored by CI Games. You can find a link to them down there in the description and the Season Pass edition of this game. And I also wanted to point out that I am playing on the PlayStation 4 version. So, Sniper Ghost Warrior is an open world game, and you can snipe, you can sneak as in Ghost, or just go guns a-blazing as a warrior. And using any of those three skills, you will be asked to clear out a lot of bases, both in the campaign and a lot of side missions and sort of roaming missions will require you to kill a lot of separatist Georgians and clear out these bases. So getting good at this is something important. The number one thing that you want to do is always use your drone to scout the enemy bases. Maybe use it several times. Take your time, look around. I have an entire tutorial about the drone, which I linked to down there in the description, but it's your number one tool for getting good information before the real fight begins. As an example, in one of the headhunting or bounty missions where I want to kill a VIP, I managed to find them hiding out in this little shack that had an open front porch with every single one of their guards sitting out at a perfect angle for me to just climb up on this rock and start whittling people down. I could shoot straight under the building through the porch, hit the guards on the other side. Everybody was exposed, so that's exactly what I did, and I just started deleting people. Now, this would have been much more difficult if I'd have gone in sneaking. It'd have been much more difficult. I probably would have died if I'd have gone in guns a-blazing. The enemy's a little bit unforgiving in this, and they kill you very, very quickly. But using the drone, I was able to find the perfect sniper angle to just completely kill everybody and not have anybody fight back whatsoever. So the drone is incredibly important. However, after you've used your drone and you've scouted the bases and you want to see what's going on, the first thing I want you to take note of is to watch the enemy patrol patterns so that they don't discover bodies. You want to know what guards sit still, what guards move, what guards have snipers, what guards have grenades, who's looking at what and how they move around, because if they discover a body, they're going to go on alert and you're going to have a bad time. Now, when it comes time to actually start sniping them, and I recommend attacking in three phases. Number one is the sniper, number two is the ghost, and then number three is the warrior to clean out anybody that's left. But the highest priority targets that you have are enemy snipers and mortar teams. Enemy snipers can instantly kill you or cripple you, and mortar teams absolutely will kill you instantly. So drop the snipers first, and then if anybody is anywhere near a mortar, they absolutely have to die. Mortars, you just can't survive. Make sure that they're dead. But when you're doing this, I want you to make sure that you do not shoot past or over enemies because they can hear the bullets whiz by. It's part of the sound mechanic in the game. If I shoot over somebody's head, they will hear it. If the bullets go by them to the left, to the right, they're going to hear it. So you can't shoot across the whole base and kill the sniper. I've made that mistake way too many times, and I have learned from it. So sometimes it's actually best to pick off the outer guards first, even though your high priority targets are the snipers and mortars. If you don't pick these guys off, they'll hear you when you're shooting the sniper and mortar teams. So make sure that they're out of the way and nobody can hear you. Then you need to delete those sniper and mortar teams. And if you get a chance, you should go for single shot multi-kills on enemies. A lot of enemies are set up side by side, 2 or 3 in a row, and you can't shoot one without alerting the other. However, if you take your time and sneak around, it's pretty often that you can line them up to shoot 2 at a time through one guy's head into another guy's chest. You get a lot of experience for it too, and it makes you feel really cool, but mostly it's about not getting spotted. So once that's done, then you just want to start clearing house with your sniper rifle. Take out every single guard you can, everybody in the tower, take out the higher priority targets, the armored people, just anybody that breathes or moves, they need to die. Just go ahead and snipe them and clear them out, and that's going to do most of your work. That's probably going to get over half of the people, and once that's done, it's time to actually do some ghost work. You want to crouch everywhere and sneak into the base. You just want to crouch so that you can avoid being heard. That reduces sound greatly, which you can see in the other episode that I made on sound. One fun fact though, when you're going around stabbing people in the neck and sneaking up and doing your thing, remember that when you interrogate people, that's fatal. I actually failed a bonus objective by interrogating our scientists a little bit too hard. I didn't know that interrogating them also meant killing them. I thought you just kind of knocked them out. Generally speaking, I don't do the interrogations too much because they usually just tell me where goodies are instead of actionable intel, but sometimes they will tell you something nice. Now, the better bases will have cameras. I find it better to shoot the cameras or to hack them once I've snuck in, and they kind of add a certain like obstacle or the floor is lava zone, but once you've cleaned out a lot of the guards, I really wouldn't worry about the cameras. Another thing to keep in mind, especially when it comes to guards that you cannot sneak up on because they are on the other side of a camera or because their buddies are too nearby or something, that throwing knives are your friend. You can buy these in your safe house. They're really cheap, and no, they're not as flashy as grenades. No, they're not as big. It almost seems like an afterthought, but being able to one-shot people silently from close range is extremely effective because the assault rifles, the snipers, and the pistols all make noise, but the throwing knives do not. Even if you've done everything perfectly, almost every mission will go awry somewhere. You can't spot everybody early, you can't take notice of every camera, you can't be perfectly silent. We're not superhuman and the game is sometimes challenging, so something will go wrong with every mission. You will miss a soldier, you will not tag a soldier. Sometimes your bullets just whiz by a little bit too close, so when that does go wrong, you need to be prepared to swap out of ghost mode and into warrior mode, but by that time, between your sniping and backstabbing and killing, you've probably thinned out over 75% of the enemies, leaving only a handful left for you to just hose down with your assault rifles, and at that point you don't have to worry about alerting anybody or cameras or anything. Now, if you don't want to do the warrior path and you want to go pure stealth, you can hide in dumpsters and garbage cans and lockers and kind of wait it out, but I find that hiding in these places is not the most fun idea. The AI tends to stay on alert for a very long time and patrol really hard, and most of the time you end up waiting for just a very, very long time for them to calm the hell down, and then they'll start patrolling differently and acting a little bit differently. So I typically don't go this strategy unless I absolutely have to, but it is something that is available for you. So that's a pretty basic tutorial on how to clear out a base. In summary, use your drone to get the best info that you can, snipe every single person to death, prioritizing enemy snipers and mortar teams, but you'll probably have to pick off the outer guards first. Once almost everybody's dead, you can move in and try and stab them all in the back, and when you do make a mistake, which happens all the time, then it's finally time to go warrior mode and just kind of YOLO solo it and hose everybody to death. But doing this simple, straightforward method should get you through about 99% of the bases in the game. Guys, that is all for this episode of Sniper Ghost Warrior In Depth. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.